They were still going at it.
The DMZ was a war zone. I mean, there were regular incursions across that line by the North Koreans, and people were getting killed. At the time that Dresnik was there, the hazards to someone walking the line were very real.
We were being attacked at night by North Koreans, throw hand grenades at us and so forth. The foliage in the DMZ made it very difficult because the bad guys could come up within grenade range. You'd never know they were there until the grenade went off.
This was what it was, engineer tape, a little wider. That said, okay, you're on this side, you're on the south. If you're on that side, you're on the north. And that's all we had. And that's how you walked your patrols. When the North Koreans felt in a bad mood or they wanted to see if they could inflict any punishment, they would change it. They would take the tape and move it back, or maybe even move it forward. And that way, if they shot you, they could say, hey, he was on our side, he was here.
He lived, slept, ate, and trained and everything in the DMZ himself. During your A week, you'd be on ambush patrols. We'd run about 55 to 60 ambush patrols during that week. During B week, we'd man about 6 outposts, 24 hours a day, backed up with a reaction force. During C week, we'd train. Had one day off, then we'd start all over again.
South Korea was a desperately poor country, struggling to rebuild after the devastation of war. For GIs, there was little variety during non-duty hours. Most invariably spent their time in local villages, where the entertainment was aimed at Americans with dollars to spend.
They all had a girlfriend down in the Ville, and these little ladies of the night would entertain them at any time, so their big thing was get off duty and get down to the village.
You're gonna live good, you gotta live it up. And that's where all my money went. After being divorced, I tried to make up every minute and every second that I didn't spend with my wife.
In Last Chance Village, across the river, there were more women than we had men in our entire battalion. There were more prostitutes. The commanding general in our welcoming speech from him said, look at the man on your left, now look at the man on your right. He says, those two men are going to have VD before they leave Korea. It was about right. That's what the VD rate was running.
I'd been serving on the stakeout posts for 2 weeks without any rest. And they decided to let us go to the village and have some fun. According to the company commander, it was only the stakeout NCO to go on pass.
Dresnik needed to talk to me. He was in love with the young woman down in the Ville.
There was one girl, very nice, good looking. And just the average relations.
I said, well, whatever it is, Dresnik, you can't go. I'm not going to replace you. You've got these guys depending on you.
Well, he gave me the hard lip. He's an officer. I just went down and made my own slip again, signed my post sergeant's signature, forgery, and I went on pass.
The next morning, about 7, the first sergeant came in and said, Dresnik was in the village last night. So I said, have Dresnik in my office at 8 o'clock. Dresnik comes in and, he was a nice-looking big guy and had a boyish grin. He looks at me and he says, sir, you can't do anything to me. I said, pardon me? He said, no, you can't touch me. He said, I had a pass. I said, Dresnik, be back here at 3 o'clock. We're going to read the charge sheets, and I fully intended to court-martial him.
Hey, there's the orphan, the poor boy. You ain't shit, what am I? Am I a slave? To hell with this. I was fed up with my childhood, my marriage, my military life. Everything, I was finished. There's only one place to go. On August 15th at noon, in broad daylight, when everybody was eating lunch, I hit the road. Yes, I was afraid. Am I going to live or die? Everybody wants to live. If I say I did not, lying. But at that time, life wasn't so precious. And when I stepped into the minefield and I seen it with my own eyes, I started sweating. I crossed over, looking for my new life. Best not come back. Go to hell, son of a bitches, and I'd let one round fly, but it wouldn't go that far nohow. But it scared the shit out of him because he hit the ground.
I got a call from Battle Group. They said there was a big guy in fatigue uniforms. He was carrying a shotgun, and he was going along, and he'd pick this up and he'd fire. And I said, was he a real big guy? He said, yeah.
서대장 동지로부터 우리 분대가 전투 진지에 진입할 때 대한 명령을 내렸습니다.
I walked at a very fast speed, and I moved right on through.
그러면서 키 높은 그 세차밭으로 왼자가 우리 쪽으로 지금 오고 있다고 이렇게 보고가 됐습니다.
I got my rear end up the trail. I found the outpost for the Korean People's Army, and I followed it.
점점 들어오기 시작합니다. 그래서 그때 분대장 동지가 앞으로 때문에 썰썰같이 나가서 이제 나가보니까 아이 쭉 포위하니까 이거 보니까 뜻밖에도 미국놈이었습니다.
I was worried. Why? Maybe someone would be trigger happy.
길에서 그지 평창으로 뛰고 보고 정말 난도질하고픈 그런 생각이 이제 벼 같은데 나하고 미국놈들한테 부모를 다 잃은 그런 사람이기 때문에 그저 죽이려고 이제 칠 것인가 이게 어떻게 할 것인가. 우리 분대장들과 자제하라. 어쨌든 체포했으니까. 그래서 그런 감정을 좀 누르고 있었습니다.
Blindfolded me right then, tied me right then, and up the hill we went.
Well, I figured at some time he was going to come back and he was going to claim that he was hunting and got on the wrong side of the tape and they captured him. So I thought, if he comes back with that lame excuse, I'm going to hang him. I'm going to court-martial that guy when he comes back. Well, how long has that been now? 43 years?
They put me in a room, I don't know what it was. Couldn't see. I was there for one day, then I come to Piña. Of course, on the guard. At that stage, I was a POW. I went into interrogation immediately. I hadn't been in South Korea long enough to know that much. The only thing I could tell them, which they already knew, was the position of the company or administration or personnel. I could tell them that. Atomic weapons and where, I know they're there, but where they're at, I didn't know. The interrogation went for quite a while. Then they realized It's true. He wasn't there long enough to know it.
As hellish as North Korea looks from the outside to folks now, the demonization of the place back then was so complete that to make that leap was just, it's inconceivable.
North Korea was viewed by the U.S. as a puppet of the Soviet Union. The country was led by a revolutionary who was committed to reunifying Korea, by force if necessary. Here he was known and revered as Comrade Kim Il-sung, the great leader. His presence was everywhere. Kim Il-sung declared that the U.S. was the illegal occupier of South Korea and the sworn enemy of the Korean people. Dresnok was isolated and in the hands of a people unswerving in their hatred of the U.S. He was surrounded by anti-American imagery. Nothing here resembled the life he had left behind.
Dresnok, who the hell's calling me? I didn't believe myself. I shut them again. I must be dreaming. I opened them again and looked, and who in the hell are you? He says, I'm Apsher. Apsher? I don't know no Apsher. He says, Larry Allen Apsher. You didn't see in the newspapers? Oh, yes, now I remember. Apsher grew up with family problems, simmered now. But the elder people that were taking care of him supported him very good. He had a little trouble in South Korea with marijuana. He was caught on it 5 or 6 times. He always had VD. They were going to court-martial him or kick him out of the army. He was fed up with the social life too, I guess. Instead of going back to his old life, he'd just come over to DPR.